Now, the South African Council of Educators is convening a conference. It's bringing teachers together to pause, reflect and raise their voices as individuals and as a collective on issues affecting their profession. Many teachers bear the brunt of criticism for the performance of the country's education system. So what else is on the agenda? We're joined by Mokgalane. She's the CEO of the South African Council of Educators. Thank you very much, Ella, for your time here on eNCA. So I understand that this is an inaugural a sitting that is done by SACE with teachers. If this is true, why now after so long?
We've been having different measures to make sure that we have the voice of the teachers in the teaching profession. However, we felt if we are to do justice, there's a need for us to bring teachers from all corners of the country so that they can come together and share experiences from different backgrounds. We've got teachers coming from urban schools, rich schools, your former model Cs, but also on the other end, you've got teachers that are coming from informal settlement schools, extreme remote rural areas, and so on. So yes, I agree, we took time. However, we haven't. It's not that we haven't been doing anything. It's just that we thought of a different way of doing it, and teachers are excited because as a collective in one room, they are able to raise their voice and be able to say to ourselves in council, but also to the Minister of Basic Education, these are the issues that are affecting us in the schools at the coalface of the teaching profession.
As SACE, do you have any concern looking at the statistics that are released by the Education Department, the Basic Education Department, around teachers and sexual harassment of pupils or relations, sexual relations with pupils, etc.? Are you concerned at all? And is there any, conversation between yourselves, unions, and the Education Department to try and put systems in place to stop this?
Yes, definitely. We've got a responsibility to make sure that teachers adhere to the ethical standards. They promote and also uphold the ethical standards of the teaching profession. Sexual harassment, sexual abuse, sexual assault is one of the key issues that we're struggling with within the teaching profession. And I don't think it's really easy for us to say we will stop this. Even within the country, with crime, with gender-based violence, it's difficult to stop gender-based violence. And one of the things is that while we're dealing with this issue from an advocacy perspective, education perspective, we need to be mindful of the psychological issue. I think we've seen also from the case that we're dealing with in the country at the moment, a typical example of Vesta. We're also experiencing the same issue. These issues are recurring. The type of cases that you're having, for example, if you've got a teacher that would take young boys and say to them, I need your semen on a daily basis. Surely this is not normal. It's saying to us there's something else beyond us advocating, beyond us educating educators. Yes, we are concerned. We are working collaboratively with the Department of Basic Education, 9 provincial education departments, as well as the Education Labor Relations Council, to make sure that we really find ways of minimizing, curbing this scourge of really abusing young learners in our schools.
All right. And, when it comes to, teachers having shown us, Ms. Mokgalane, during COVID-19, that they actually played a significant role looking at the matric results of that year and, how much they had to work extra to make sure that at least the matric pupils in particular continue to study and they continue to be able to go to varsity or college the following year. Of course, we can't say all teachers or paint all teachers with the same bad brush. What kind of, ills or social ills that they're going through or ills in schools and in the system are they raising at that council, that sitting that you're having today?
One of the main issue for them is overcrowding. Their classes are big. Even during COVID, you would have seen that because of the issue of distance and whatever, many of the schools could not open because of space. And however, while this is a case, we had some young teachers from, in fact, remote rural areas who came to the conference to say, despite the fact that we're having challenges with overcrowding, these are some of the things that we are doing with our learners to make sure that we involve the communities, we find ways of dealing with the situations that we have. That's number one. But secondly, there's an issue of violence against teachers. There's overall violence in schools. However, there's targeted violence against teachers. For example, there's a case where the principal would reprimand learners for doing something, and learners will retaliate and torch and burn the car of the principal. You'll have thugs coming from outside the school, from communities, coming into the schools and taking bags, cell phones, and valuable assets of the teachers in school. So we can't be having such kind of an environment, and therefore teachers were calling upon ourselves in council, but also to advise the minister in terms of saying, to what extent can we have a policy that can deal specifically with protecting teachers against this kind of issues while they are in schools. And also, we are having issues. We've already spoken about ethical issues. In fact, as you raised the issue of sexual abuse, we had a parallel session, a commission that dealt specifically with ethical issues of the profession, so that we can say to ourselves as a collective, we joined the teaching profession for a particular reason, to teach the children, but also to protect children against harm, to protect their interests and safeguard them. So therefore, there are things that we need to be doing according to the Code of Professional Ethics in order to protect them.
Yeah, and that's obviously a societal issue as well, so you'll need buy-in even from the communities. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That was Ella Mokgalane. She's the CEO of the South African Council of Educators.